Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Ohio Real Estate. My name is Jason Ferrier, and today we're talking about the Redfin update because people in the housing market are totally freaking out and panicking. Why is that? Well, two main reasons. One, you have the number of new listings coming to market is failing to impress us. It's not coming to market like we thought we would see as mortgage rates are lower. They're actually under 6.5 when I checked this morning with Mortgage News Daily, but demand isn't coming back to the market, and new listings aren't coming to the market either. So the market's completely locked up. Sellers are freaking out. Agents, realtors like me are freaking out because they're trying to figure out why the demand is so low. Probably because the prices, are super high and interest rates are still 6.5%. So today we're going to dive into the latest Redfin data and article. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the national picture first, and then we're going to jump into several metros. We're going to start with Ohio because I'm in Ohio. So we're going to do Columbus. We're going to do Cincinnati. But then we're going to travel around the country. We've got Chicago. We're going to do today. That was a request from somebody. Atlanta. I had a viewer ask for Atlanta. Had a viewer ask for Rockland, California, which is just north. I believe it's just northeast of Sacramento. And then we're going to look at Salt Lake City. So we got Salt Lake City, and we're also going to look at some other metros. If you have a metro that you want me to analyze on this live or on a future live, just put it in the comments below. And I'm happy to do so. I'm happy to analyze that market for you. Remember, real estate is hyper local. I don't have to tell you that. You probably already know it. The macro picture is a good glimpse as to what's happening throughout the nation. And even a metro level look is good, but you definitely want to go down to a street level, a subdivision level, a neighborhood level, and do a real comp analysis to get a really true picture of what's going on. And remember, you need to stick with the asset that you're looking at. So if you're looking at single family houses, analyze those in the price point that you're searching for in the type of house. Don't analyze or look at houses that are priced way over what you're looking for, and houses that don't match what you want to buy. Those really don't matter. It really matters what you're looking for. So get hyper local, hyper focus into a buy box to understand what's happening. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the national picture. All right, so this latest Redfin article is titled, "The Typical U.S. Housing Payment Has Fallen to the Lowest Level in 6 Months. That has led to more buyer interest, but not more sales." That's why people are freaking out. I can tell you, I've talked to sellers over the last couple of weeks who have either listed their house or are thinking of listing their house, and they're trying to figure out why houses around them aren't selling like they were a couple years ago. And we're definitely seeing more price drops, even here in Ohio. Even though the market's tight here in Ohio, we're seeing price drops. So that's why people are freaking out. And realtors are scratching their head going, hey, why aren't people coming to see my listing? Well, the market's just really frozen right now. And the reasoning for that, we're going to go into today in this article. Some of the reasoning I agree with. Some of it's like really strange what Redfin points out. All right, so I won't read the whole article, just a few highlights. The median U.S. housing payment has dropped nearly $250 below its springtime peak as mortgage rates decline. While Redfin agents are reporting a modest uptick in touring, pending home sales are down 5% year over year. Pending home sales are still down compared to last year. And last year was a horrible year for home sales. I mean, almost like a record low number of homes were sold. And this year's even worse. So it's no doubt carnage if you're out there and you're a realtor or if you're in the mortgage business. It's tough. Now, actually, for the mortgage side, they just had an uptick in refinances. So mortgage professionals may be picking up steam as far as their business goes, but purchases as you'll see here in a second, are not great. All right, so the median housing payment for the U.S. home buyers has dropped to its lowest level since February. We know that. It's now $2,588. That's the average, or the median, sorry. And that is, it's $250 below April's all-time high and up just 1% versus last year. So for a long time, you've seen mortgage payments much more elevated compared to 2023. But now what you're seeing is mortgage payments are flat compared to last year. And probably as rates start to come down and prices, I'm sure, are going to start to come down a little bit, you're going to see the payments get lower, right? Will they get back to where they were a few years ago? Probably not. I guess they could. Anything's possible, but they're definitely coming down, which is good, right? They also point out here the total number of homes for sale is up nearly 20% year over year, and an increasing share of inventory is growing stale. That's 100% true, allowing some buyers the chance to negotiate. Additionally, less than 30% of homes are selling above list price, down from 35% a year ago. So tell me what you think. I want to know throughout this live, like, what are you seeing in your market? Do you see houses sit on the market a long time? Are you seeing them, fly off the shelf? Some markets, they still are. Some price points definitely are still hot, but there is a lot of inventory that's just sitting and not moving. A lot of it's expensive inventory priced over the median for the area. And a lot of it may be homes that are kind of destroyed. They need a lot of work. And the price of the home plus the rehab just doesn't make sense for buyers. So that could be the situation as well. A lot of it has to do with the fact that borrowing rates are still high enough, for like if you need to do like a rehab on a property, that it's keeping people away from that type of asset more than when money was basically free. All right. So we know that realtors are freaking out. Here's a comment I thought was interesting from the realtors from Redfin. It says, I was hoping more buyers would emerge when mortgage rates started declining. And while house hunting has picked up a bit, the increase isn't all that significant, said Brian Ray, a Redfin premier agent in Spokane, Washington. Budgets are typically the most important factor for buyers. No kidding, right? And homes are still really expensive for a lot of people. A lot of buyers are waiting to see if mortgage rates fall more if and when the Fed cuts interest rates, and to see what happens with the economy and the election later this year. They keep mentioning the election from Redfin. I hear other people mention that too. And I've had some comments on my channel like, hey, the election is what I'm watching in order to determine if I'm buying a house or not. So I want to know from you, if you're waiting on the election to find out who wins in order to buy a house, I want to know where that strategy fits into your buying. Because to me, that doesn't make sense to me, but that's me. And so I could be missing something. I'm not an expert, a seasoned expert for decades in real estate. So I want to know, like, are you one of the people that's saying, hey, if this person wins, I'm going to buy, but if they lose, I'm not going to buy? I want to know, like, if you're a big developer, I get that. But if you're not a developer and you're just buying your single family house for yourself, that doesn't make sense to me. So I want to know, if you're basing your decision on the election, I want to know. The economy, I get that, but in reality, you got to take care of your own backyard, right? So, like, if it's time for you to buy a house, it's time. If it's not time and you don't want a house, don't buy one. It's that simple. It's a personal decision, I think. Okay, this week's CPI report shows that inflation continues to soften, reinforcing the expectation the Fed will start cutting rates, though it's unclear by how much. A lot of people are saying the mortgage market has already priced in all the rate cuts that we are supposedly going to see. And the spread between what a bank pays or a lender pays for money and what they lend it out, that spread is compressed now more so than it was over the last couple years, even though rates haven't really come down. The Fed hasn't come down. So That spread's compressed. So you have lower rates, lower 30-year mortgage rates and other mortgage rates. But, I'm curious what you think. Do you think the Fed is going to lower rates enough or have a huge cut coming up? And do you think that's going to affect mortgage rates? It doesn't directly affect them, but in a roundabout way it does, right? So, I have seen rates like investment loans, refinance loans for investment properties. I've been watching those very closely for some of my properties, and the rates have come down a lot. Like I'm being quoted like a % difference from just a few months ago. So I was recently quoted like 6.5. I was quoted 7 recently. I was quoted 6.3 recently, obviously with some points and some fees and everything. So rates are definitely coming down. It'll be interesting to see if they keep falling. All right. So we'll go through some of the leading indicators now of demand and activity. We already went over mortgage rates, kind of beat that to death. All right. So mortgage purchase applications. This is really interesting. They've increased 3% from a week earlier. I haven't seen an increase in a long time. So it's not a huge increase, but purchase applications are up slightly, 3%, but still down 8% from last year. But I heard mortgage applications refinance applications were up like 18%, up a lot. Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index, unchanged from a month earlier. So it's still bad. Down 10% year over year. Touring activity up 10% from the start of the year. At this time last year, it was up 7% from the start of 2023. So I guess it's up 3% year over year. It's only up 10% from the start of the year. Remember, start of the year was in January, right? So it's cold. So I'd hope it would be high in January, but it's not up a ton. Google searches for a home. This is actually up quite a bit, up 11% from a month earlier and down only 3% from last year. So people are starting to look for homes more than they were earlier this year, but still not like they were last year, right? And probably nothing like they were 2 years ago or 3 years ago. All right, so that was the activity and some of the mortgage information. Now we're going to look at the U.S. highlights. This is for the top 400 metros. Keep that in mind. Only the top 400. All right, median sale price. We haven't talked about this yet, but that's at $389,250. That's a year-over-year difference of 3.4%. And it's up slightly from a week earlier, but down $6,750 below an all-time high set during the 4 weeks ending July 7th. Okay, so let me talk about median sale price real quick and Redfin data. If you're looking for someone to tell you that Redfin has manipulated the data or they're trying to pull the wool over the people's eyes, right, and trying to bamboozle us somehow or hornswoggle us, you came to the wrong channel, because I don't work for Redfin. And there are a lot of people out there, I think, that will use some of the Redfin data that they like, and they'll say, hey, look, demand is down according to Redfin. Look at that. We're winning. But then they look at the median sale price and they're like, that's manipulated. So if the data is manipulated, it's manipulated. So if it is, and you believe that, why use it? What's the point of using it? Why not just not use it? Just don't use it. Like, I don't see how you can tell people some of the data is manipulated, some of it's not. And and then if the median price goes down, some people are like, hey, that data is correct all of a sudden, like for a week. Then if it goes, back up, they're like, the data's wrong. So again, I take this all with a grain of salt. I don't work for Redfin. I don't know anybody who works for Redfin. I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, but it's common for people to adjust numbers once they get more data and more clarity, to go backwards and say, okay, well, we're doing this weekly. We're updating these numbers weekly. Sometimes there are errors. Maybe that's happening. I don't know. I take this with a grain of salt. So should you. That's why you got to use local analysis. Anyway, that was my soapbox. Thanks for the time. All right, median asking price. That's actually now up 5.9%, $398,000. That's the biggest increase since October of 2022. So median asking price, you'll see in a minute on the graph, was going down, but now it's starting to level off and go up again. And a lot of people say that leads median sale price. Well, if it does, you may see an increase again in median sale price. Median monthly mortgage payment, $2,588 at a 6.47%. We talked about that. Lowest level since February, $244 below the all-time high. Pending sales. This is why people are like freaking out. Total freak out is it's 82,160, down 5.1%. Biggest decline since November of 2023, except the prior 4-week ending period when there were 6.2% decline. So the pending sales are down a ton. Now, this next number is awful as well. New listings, 92,000 units coming to market. That's 4.5% more than this time last year. There's a spread there, right? New listings minus pending sales has a delta there of 10,000 units approximately. That would be, in theory, the number of units added to the market for supply for active listings. The thing that I'm not hearing many people talk about this, new listings are horrible compared to last year. Like they're like if a 4.5% increase is nothing. We're still like 20, I think we're 24, 25% below pre-pandemic as far as new listings. We're not adding new listings like a lot of people hoped and thought we would. If we did see a spike in new listings, like if all of a sudden, if new listings were like 150,000 units, for instance, you would see a lot of price decline because the demand's not there right now. So, the theory a lot of people have is that if mortgage rates drop below 6%, you're going to see a spike in new listings, but maybe not demand because people, I don't know what they think where people are going to go. They have to go somewhere. They either have to buy or they're going to rent something. But we're not seeing a ton of people list their home for sale. I don't think the mortgage rates are low enough yet. I really don't. I don't think that's happening. Active listings. Over a million. We only have 18.9% more than this time last year. That's not going to do it, folks. If you're hoping for a large surplus in supply nationwide, according to this data, that's not enough to cause a housing crash. It's just not. We need a lot more inventory. Months of supply, 3.6 months of supply. And it's important to note a lot of that supply is probably properties that are stale. So it's not affordable supply. Usually it's properties that, people have to put money into, or they're priced over the median, or they're in areas people don't want to buy in. But a lot of that supply is kind of stale and dead. Share of homes off the market in 2 weeks or less, 37.1. That's down from 43%. That's good. People are taking their time looking for a house. That's a positive thing. Median days on market, 35. That's up 6 days compared to last year, taking longer to sell. Share of homes sold above list price, 29.6. That's down from 35%. So big delta there, right? People aren't overpaying as much for homes as they were a few years ago, certainly compared to last year. Share of homes with a price drop 7%. That's 1.8 points higher than last year, near highest level on record. Yikes. So a lot of price cuts. I know, I have clients that we've cut prices for recently. We've dropped their price. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you have to sometimes drop your price. If you're not getting love on the in the market, you entered the market at the wrong price. So you have to, right? Sometimes you have to drop the price, right? Price reduced. I got it right there. Price reduced. Time to get those signs out. Average sale to list price ratio, 99.3%. That's down 0.5 point. So people aren't paying on average what sellers are asking for by less than 1%. So if somebody's asking $100,000 for a house, they are paying $99,300. But that's not the original list. That's the current list, which is different, right? If you lower your price and then somebody pays 99.3% of the reduced price, it could be 90% of the original list, right? Instead of 99%. All right, time for the metro level highlights. So they take the top 50 most populous US metros, and then they talk about them, who had the largest increases and decreases and such. So we'll run through this real quick, do the charts, and then jump into the metro areas. So metros with the biggest year-over-year increases, you got Philly. This is for median sale price. You've got Philly, Detroit, Anaheim, Newark, New Jersey, New Brunswick, New Jersey. Philly, that's kind of new to the list, but Detroit, Anaheim, Newark, and New Brunswick, New Jersey, those are on this median price list for the largest increases. These are consistent. These are consistent players, except Philly. All right, metros with the biggest year-over-year decreases in median sale price. Austin, Tampa, San Antonio. Three. That's three. So 3 markets of the top 50 declined. Just 3 of the top 50. So there isn't widespread price decline. There's just not. Not yet anyway, right? Remains to be seen how that'll work out in the next few months. Pending sales. They're up the most in San Francisco, Cincinnati. We're going to talk about Cincinnati more in a minute. Sacramento. We're going to talk about Sacramento, the Sacramento area in a minute more. Los Angeles, San Jose. That's where pending sales, houses or properties that go into contract. That's what a pending sale is. That's where they increase the most. Houston, Atlanta, Tampa, Minneapolis, West Palm Beach all had the largest decreases in pending sales. But pending sales increased in 9 of the top 50 metros. So overall, again, pending sales aren't really impressive at all in most markets. They're just not. The market's frozen. New listings, where properties are coming to market the most with new listings. You got Cincinnati, San Jose, Sacramento, Baltimore, that's new on this list, I think, and San Diego. Where new listings are down the most, Atlanta, Austin, Chicago, Portland, and Nassau County, New York. That declined in 11 metros. So of the top 50, new listings declined in 11. Yeah, so it's good that there are metros where new listings are increasing. You need more new listings. A lot of new listings. A lot of good listings, right? They can't be bad listings. All right, time for the charts. Median sale price. 3.4% increase year over year. And you can see how it's kind of gone, right? Up, up, up. Now we're starting to enter the winter months, fall months, however you want to say it, and starting to see a decline, but then, now it's ticked up slightly, but it's not crashing, right? There are people that think we're going to end up down here somewhere underneath 2023. I heard a couple of people recently say that we're going to end up 10% under 2023. Tell me below, do you think, let us know, like in the comments. I read all the comments, by the way. I love them. So thank you if you're commenting. I really value the input. I want to know, are you thinking that the median sale price is going to go down underneath 2023 by the end of this year? Will we have a year-over-year decline? That'd be something, right? Remember, we're 50%, like 48% or so, price-wise, over pre-pandemic. So like a decline of 3% isn't going to, or 5% isn't going to make a dent in the fact that we've gone up 48% in 5 years. You need like a cataclysmic event to make a difference that would be, reasonable. I'm sorry, that would be helpful. Right? All right, median asking price, 5.9% year over year up. So it's starting to level off a little bit. I thought it would keep going down, but it's not. now it's starting to level. You know, at some point, people are they're still asking $398,000 for the median price point. Homebuyer housing payments, 0.7% year over year. But it's almost down underneath last year. Imagine that. Imagine if housing payments get to the point that they sink underneath 2023. It's not because of prices so far, it's because of rates, right? I mean, prices have only moved like $6,000 from their all-time high. Pending sales down 5% year over year. This is horrible. Horrible. If you're in the mortgage or real estate business, not good. I talked to a guy who does a lot of the photography for me. And he does a fantastic job, by the way. Mr. Jim Wall, if Jim's listening, he's a local guy here in Licking County, Buckeye Lake. He does a great job. He told me that he's really slow compared to the last few years. He's seeing definite slowdown. So people, you know, tied to the housing market are hurting. New listings of homes. This is what I mean, folks. Look at this. Only up 4.5%. Just 4.5% year over year. That's not going to fly. Like, you need a lot more new listings to generate a ton of good active listings to make prices go down. It's because you need more supply. And hopefully, if so, we're like at that apex, right? If demand shoots up because rates drop suddenly or keep dropping, you're going to see, you know, active inventory go down significantly, right? Conversely, if you see a lot of new listings hit the market and demand hasn't picked up, then you're going to see active inventory shoot up and prices will probably go down. So we just don't have enough new listings to cause any type of massive price decline right now. Active listings, that's what I'm talking about, right? So it's not skyrocketing. The trajectory isn't, you know, this way. The trajectory is flat. Now it's starting to go down a little bit. I mean, it's actually headed, like the trajectory is headed to the point that it could go under last year. You know, if we don't add more new listings, or if demand picks up more than new listings, we're doomed there. And you'll see prices probably go up a lot then too. 3.6 months of supply available on the market. This has been relatively steady all, you know, for the last several months, right? It's up compared to last year. A lot of people say that we have a buyer's market now. Do we have a buyer's market? I don't know. I think we have more of a buyer's market than we did last year, but I'm not sure I'd call it a buyer's market yet. Mainly because the inventory, the good selection isn't there. 37% of pending sales under contract in 2 weeks. So people aren't, you know, they're not pulling the trigger as quick as they were before. That's good. They're taking their time. Homes sold in a median of 35 days. So homes are taking longer to sell. That's good for buyers and sellers. 30% of homes sold above final list price. So not, you know, people aren't overpaying for homes like they were before. Not as many bidding wars, though there are still bidding wars. I actually have a friend who put an offer in on a house, and she told me they got like 10 offers on the house, and they lost the opportunity, that they didn't get picked, but it ended up going over asking. And this is just a couple weeks ago in Columbus, so in a suburb of Columbus. 7% of listings had price drops. So people are cutting prices. We know that. They should if they can't sell their house. It's really the only lever you have to pull. Average home sold for 99% of final list price. So people aren't paying as much for homes. We already know that compared to the list price. Demand index, this is their goofy algorithm that they put together. That's horrible compared to last year. So the Redfin home buyer demand index is down 10% year over year. Whoop-de-doo. Not sure how helpful that is to us right now. All right, so now let's do the metro level highlights. Or, I'm sorry, the deep dive into some metros. So this is their data center from Redfin. You can go here anytime. You can download the raw data. You can use the chart like I'm going to, and you can look at county level or metro level. It's pretty intuitive, and it's updated weekly, which I like. I like the fact that it's updated weekly. It's to me the most up-to-date real estate information you can find, really. Nationally, obviously your MLS, if you're a realtor, you can find it much better, much quicker. Let's see. I'm just going to check some comments first before I jump into these. Bill R. Property taxes and incorrect appraisal values are destroying homeowners in Texas. Yeah, I've seen some videos and articles on that. And it's funny, Bill R is 100% correct. It's probably happening in a lot of areas of the United States. It could be nefarious, or it could just be, counties and cities not understanding how to do appraisals. Maybe school districts not understanding how to spend money, right? But the great comment, Bill. I agree. That's definitely happening. Thanks for that. All right, let me see if Instagram has anything. Instagram people never comment. Okay, you should watch this on YouTube anyway. All right, let's look at these metro level highlights. I'm sorry, I keep saying metro level highlights. I mean, deep dive. All right, so we're in the data center of Redfin. We'll do the first area, which I always start with Columbus because that's where I live or near there. The Columbus metro area basically covers, Columbus and then the surrounding market. I think these are all based on the MLS, I believe, is how they do it. What's up with this? All right, Columbus. So what we'll usually do on these, we'll review new listings, we'll review active listings, we're going to review pending sales and days on market, and then price on each metro, each city. So the first one is Columbus. So new listings in Columbus, Ohio. I was afraid of this. We're officially in Columbus. We have less new listings than we had this time last year. It's startling. It's startling to see this. And with the demand we have here now, and with the demand that's coming with Intel and Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, there's 3 or 4 other developments, large developments that I've never seen in this area that are coming. And we just have zero housing. And the new builds here are pathetic. Like the numbers of new builds here in Columbus, like nothing. Hardly anything at all. And a lot of the housing stock is old. It's old, like 1910, 1900, 1920. I know because I own, like, the newest property I own is 1940. That's the newest rental I have. So when I bought a building that was built in 1940, I was like, wow, it's new. I mean, it's approaching 100 years old, right? I mean, not quite, but it's ridiculous. Stock is old, which means it needs a ton of work. Windows, roofs, electric, plumbing, all that jazz. So we need more new houses, a lot of them. So if you're a home builder, come to Columbus. We need you. All right, so that's new listings in Columbus, not good. Active listings in Columbus. Let's look at that. Yeah. So new listings have been pathetic. Now active listings are now bad as well, right? They're just not going up like we want them to. They're up 14.87% compared to last year. So we have more, but a lot of that inventory is wish pricing, I call it, where somebody puts their house on the market knowing dang well it's overpriced, and sometimes even the realtor knows it's overpriced, but they want to, test the market, and then it sits and doesn't sell, and they wonder why, and it's usually because of the price. So then they end up taking it off the market. It's like a wish price, and they don't need to sell. They just want to sell to see if they can get more than their neighbor. And then they're like, oh, I guess I couldn't. All right, I'll take it off the market. I think a lot of that's out. Just wish pricing, at least here in Columbus. Okay, that was active listings. I lied. We're also going to do months of supply. It's more than last year, 10.4 weeks of supply, up 1.2 weeks year over year. 10 weeks is just over 2 months. It's still a seller's market here in Columbus and the area. It just is. We've already talked about supply though. Here it's not great. We'll do pending sales. Down 1.8%. It's not down 5% like national, but it's not good. Not good at all. How are we doing on time? 35, huh? Okay. Yeah, pending sales aren't good. All right, let's do the days on market. Let me look at that. Days to close. Median days on market. That's what I wanted. Median days on market. 38 days, up 3.5 days year over year. So it's up, but it should take over a month to sell properties. I mean, buyers need time to go through to, look at a few to see what they want. I'll tell you the other reason this is good. This is good for the market. It's good for sellers too and realtors. People wonder why I say that, but why it's good for sellers, right? They think sellers want to sell their house immediately. Like that's what we should do. Sell our house like the first day it's listed. The problem with that is you'll get offers from people that jump the gun. They get, all antsy and they want to make an offer and they see the house the first day and they make the offer and then they crawfish backwards, right? And go, oh, I didn't really want that house or I can't afford it. And then they cancel the deal. So it's much better to have somebody take their time, look at your house maybe once, twice to make sure that they're going to stick, because taking your house off the market and putting it back on is a pain and a detriment. So it's better to get a serious buyer. All right. That's Columbus. We got to still do medium price though. Man, 348 grand. I thought it would continue to go down. It's not. Now it's starting to go up again. It's ridiculous how expensive it's gotten here in Columbus. Just ridiculous. Started at 315. Now it's 348 for the year. Then the locals are priced out. Affordable inventory shot. Okay, enough of Columbus. Let's do Cincinnati. Somebody asked for Cincinnati. That's good. Nasty natty, Cincinnati. I want to listings. New listings for Cincinnati up 20% year over year. Good. We need more inventory in Cincinnati. No doubt, but it's not skyrocketing. Let's look at active listings. Active listings has steadily gone up. Looks like, wow, look at that. 76% increase in active listings year over year. 76%. Wow, that's a crazy number, right? Look, we still have in Cincinnati less active listings than 2022, less active listings than 2021 still, but a lot compared to last year. But last year's active listings were horrible. Look at that. They were down under 3,000. Now at least there's some selection. Jeez. Okay, so let's do months of supply. More than last 4 years, 5.1 week increase to 11 weeks of supply, which technically is still a seller's market. It's under 3 months, so it's still a seller's market. Technically anything under 4 months, I call a seller's market. And I call anything under 2 months a strong seller's market. So they still have technically a seller's market in Cincinnati. I haven't bought any investments in Cincinnati. I looked at a few deals, but I haven't. I like the town though. It's a nice town. All right, so let's do pending sales. Pending sales, Cincinnati, Ohio, year over year. Wow, look at that. They're up 10%, but look at that dip they had last year at this time, like for like a minute, right? It went down, came back up. So they're still kind of flat, right? It's not like it doesn't look like it's skyrocketing upwards. Okay, so having said all that, let's look at median days on market. Median days on market. That's weird. Look how that is going. Huh? It's right on. It's like flat with what's that? 2022 year over year days on market. Let me just take. Well, let me try this. That helps me. All right. So days on market, 35 days. It's up 28 days. What? Up. What in the what? Up 28 days year over year. I mean, that's startling, right? So it's now taking a normal amount of time to sell a home. This time last year, it was 6 days. I mean, that's not enough time to even think about seeing a house. So now at least it's halfway normal. It's been flat for a while, though, this year. Hasn't really spiked except at the beginning. I mean, when probably added more inventory, right? It spiked. And like we said, houses are sitting longer, a lot of stale inventory. Okay, so that's median days on market. Now let's do median sale price. Geez, $305,000, up 7% from last year. 7%. So they're still increasing a lot, more than the national average. Cincinnati started 254 grand. Now they're at 305 grand. Man. I wonder, Cincinnati's a great town. It's just sad that it won't stop. The price increases won't stop. All right. That's Cincinnati. Let me go back to new listings. Chicago is next. Now, somebody asked for the suburbs of Chicago, but I couldn't really find that, so I just had to go to Chicago Metro. I hope that's okay. New listings in Chicago. Look at this. What in the world? Down 3.9%. Less than last year in new listings. Less than last year. Wonder how active listings are. Oh, look at that. We'll check that I'm on the right. Yeah, I always have to double check these numbers. 7% decrease, almost an 8% decrease in active inventory. That's got to be tough on the people there. There's nothing for sale. Probably nothing at all that's good. If you ask for Chicago, comment below. I'd love to know if there's if there was a lot of inventory there. That's good inventory, maybe. 3. Months of supply. Chicago. Down 6 weeks. I'm sorry, down 0.6 weeks. And they have 12 weeks of supply, which is right at 3 months of supply. Still a seller's market. All right, let's do median days on market. That's tough to see. So let me take away 2022. I mean, we're flat from basically last year at 48 days of median days on market. So it's about the same amount of time as it took last year to sell a house. Yeah, I'm wondering but look, it dropped both years. It dropped in the springtime. Certainly it dropped big time, right? It did. But it's flat. So 48 days. Takes about the same amount of time to sell a house. All right, let's do pending sales. I don't think we did that yet here. Pending sales down 4%, almost 5%. Kind of tracking the national number with Chicago. Year over year down in pending sales. So transactions are in the toilet in Chicago, but active inventory is also low and new listings are low. So it's just a frozen market there, as it is in many other areas. All right. The one everybody always wants to know is the median sale price. Wow, it's come down a lot in the last few months or last few weeks. We're up in Chicago 7% year over year to 359 grand. They started at 306,000. Now they're at 359, which means Chicago is just slightly more expensive for a house than the Columbus metro area, which is that's just mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. I'm surprised houses in Chicago don't cost more. But at one point, they were $373,000. Now they're at $359,000. So there's been some decline there in median sale price. I'm sure we'll come back to Chicago in another episode. All right, that was Chicago. Let's do Atlanta. ATL. Atlanta. New listings. I like to save median sale price for last, like you're unwrapping a present. You save your big gift for last, right? As a kid. All right, so new listings in Atlanta down 16%. 16%. I mean, this is a 4-year low, and you can see it on the chart, a 4-year low for new listings in Atlanta. By a lot. Good grief. Active inventory for Atlanta. Up 1%. That's it. And it's headed down. So no surprise because new listings are awful. All right, let's do months of supply for Atlanta. Barely up compared to last year. We have 15.7 weeks of supply, so just under 4 months. Still technically a seller's market. My guess is there's a lot of expensive homes there sitting on the market that nobody is buying. Maybe because of interest rates, because of the move-up buyer is gone, right? The person who sells their cheap house to buy an expensive house, they're not doing that right now because of rates and prices. So those bigger houses are sitting. That's a theory. I don't live in Atlanta, but that's just a theory. All right. So let's do median days on market. Look at it shoot up 36 days, up 11 days compared to last year. My guess is the inventory they do have is expensive. People can't pay for it. So because they can't pay for it, the houses are sitting. Okay. Let's do pending sales. Jeez, look at that. Down 17%. 17.1%. Wow. I mean, it's definitely a 4-year low with pending sales, as it is in many areas. And man, if you're in real estate, if you're a realtor in Atlanta, you got to be suffering, right? Hopefully you own rental properties. Hopefully you own rentals, right? Some passive income to help you weather the storm. Man, that's crazy. All right, let's look at median sale price. Up just 1%. Stuff's on sale in Atlanta. Just 1% up year over year, $399,000. The peak looks like was 418 grand back in May of this year. They started in Atlanta at 375 grand. And now they're at 399. So they're still up compared to the beginning of the year, and up compared to the last year and 2022, but it's not a massive increase, right? Nationally, we were at 3.5, right? So it hasn't crashed, but it's not exploding either. Looks like the market's frozen there because the pending sales are awful. New listings are non-existent and active inventory is down. So it's like It's looks frozen there in Atlanta. You just need more inventory. And there's a lot, I would imagine there's a lot of new building around the area. I would think in Atlanta. All right, well, that's Atlanta. All right, now we're going to do Rockland, California, which is just, again, I think it's northeast of Sacramento. But we have to do the county level on this one. We got to do a county level because they don't have the metro Rockland. So it's Placer County, I think. Yeah, Placer County, California. Let's do new listings in Placer County, California. I don't think I've ever been to Placer County. Been to Sacramento many times, but not Placer County. All right, new listings up 14% year over year. So they do have more new listings, but it's going down, right? It's not continuing to shoot up. It's going down now. Has been since, what's that? Since May. Since May, it's been going down. All right, now let's do active listings. Yeah, active listings is leveling off. No surprise. We're just not, you're not adding a ton of new listings. But you're still up 26% compared to last year. I guess that's encouraging. You're still down compared to 2022. Right? You had 1,546 new listings back in 2022. At this time, now you have 1,418 of active listings. So not more than last year, but you're still down compared to 2022. I wonder how, let's do median days on market. That's going straight up. Look at that. I always forget I can click this to highlight it. 27 days, up 5 days year over year. But 30 days to me is normal. Like 30, 35, 40 days. That's like normal time to sell a house. Not compared to the last few years, but in normal days before the pandemic, I remember like 30 days was normal. Oh, it took you 30 days to sell your house. That's normal. I mean, to get an offer and like get in contract. That was normal. Normal. So good. They're headed back to some normalcy, maybe. Let's do pending sales. Sales up 3.7%. So Placer County, California actually has more pending sales than last year, but it hasn't skyrocketed. It's still, I would call it stagnant at the end of the day. And let's see. Last is median sale price. Median sale price, $691,000. That's an expensive market. Well, not for California, I guess. That's up 3% year over year in Placer County, California. You started at $643,000, and now you're at $691,000. But the all-time high was back in 2022 at $746,000. So you're definitely off from the all-time high. That's probably some relief. We aren't looking at many markets like that. Most markets are, you know, at least at the highs, or this year, a lot of them had this year as the high in 2023. But this is actually down right near Sacramento. By the way, shout out to Jason Walter. He helps me with a lot of my YouTube videos. And he lives in Sacramento. So if you need a good realtor, contact Jason Walter. Or if you need a good YouTube editor, he's good too for that. He's helped me tremendously. So thank you, Mr. Jason Walter. All right. That was Rockland, California. I hope that helped. We'll go back to new listings and go to our next city, Salt Lake City. Got to go back to the metro look, and then we'll look at Salt Lake. Again, if you have a metro you want me to analyze, put it below. If I can't get to it today on the live, I will get to it next week. New listings in Salt Lake City, down 4%. New listings. Just like Just like some other metros, they're definitely down with new listings. That's not helping Salt Lake City, I'm sure, with inventory. So let's look at active inventory. Active inventory is up 6%. That's not very much. And it's headed down. Looks like it's already crossed 2022. It may cross 2023 in active listings. Again, you need new listings, folks. New listings. A lot of people tell you, look at active listings. Well, you can, but to understand where active listings are going, you look at new listings, and that'll kind of tell you, hey, are a lot of people listing their home? Are people not listing their home? If new listings aren't accelerating rapidly, it means that people aren't eager to list their houses, right? They're not. If they're not accelerating, you're not seeing that, then you can't get an active listing unless you put a new listing out. Like, active listings don't just appear. It has to be a new listing first. All right. So that is active listings. Let's do weeks of supply. 12.5 weeks of supply. That's year over year, 1.2 week increase. So it's basically 3 months of supply. Again, that's technically a seller's market. It's kind of been flat for the last several weeks, right? I mean, it hasn't really gone up or down a ton. Started out, look where it started. Weeks of supply started at 16.7 weeks, and now it's at 12.5. So it's gone down significantly, I guess, from the beginning of the year, but not in the last few weeks. It hasn't. It's kind of remained flat. All right, that's months of supply. Now let's do pending sales. Pending sales down 1.3% year over year. So just like other areas of the U.S., like Columbus, like a lot of the other metros we looked at, down compared to last year. People just aren't aren't putting new listings out that much. There's not a ton of active listings. There's not a ton of transactions. Same old story. Okay, now let's do median days on market. Median days on market for Salt Lake. It's gone up. We're 10 days higher than last year. 36 days seems pretty normal to me for a normal market. It's an all-time high, not an all-time high. It's a high compared to the charts from last 4 years, but it's not, I wouldn't say that's egregiously high, 36 days. But it's going up again because you've got stale inventory. I mean, you see it in the charts. There's not new inventory hitting the market as much as there needs to be. Active listings are sluggish, like a wet sponge. And median days on market is going up. There's a lot of houses that are just sitting there. Again, wish pricing, right? It happens. It definitely happens. Wish pricing. All right. Now, the coup de grace will look for median sale price. It's gone down a little bit. $537,000. Salt Lake's an expensive market. Wow. Up 4% year over year. It's headed down, a little bit. It looks like this year you peaked at 554 grand in Salt Lake, started the year at 490 grand. Overall peak, it appears to be April of 2022 at 562. 562. So you're down to 537. So you've lost close to $30,000 in median sale price. So homes, are they getting a little cheaper? I don't know. Maybe I should have done price cuts too, but that's just a lot of data to go through on each of these. So I'll just look here. Price drops. Let me look. Look at price drops. You're up at 7.9. That's flat compared to last year. So I can only assume that it's, again, when you think about median sale price, you got to remember that's the houses in the middle. So there must be dead inventory sitting there, and maybe, of the little bit of affordable inventory when one sells. We're talking about the sold houses now. People are buying maybe more inexpensive houses than expensive houses in Salt Lake, perhaps. Where were they? Look at 8.9% at one point. Look at this back in 2022. 11.9% of active listings had price drops in Salt Lake. 11.9% back in 2022, but now you're at 7%. So definitely, it's like flat compared to last year. Definitely less than 2022. But price drops are needed when you can't sell a house. And again, it's really the only lever you have to pull. Okay, so that was Salt Lake. Yeah, we did meet. Sorry, right? Yeah, we did. Okay. I got Dallas. Dallas. All right, new listings in Dallas, Texas. Down 3.9% in Dallas. Wow. Yeah. I mean, just like a lot of other areas, they're just new listings aren't coming to market like people wanted. Oops, I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry. Let me take this out. These charts a little bit. Times can be rough. All right, that's easier. I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. New listings up 15%, 15.7% year over year. New listings, Dallas, I was wrong at the beginning. Click the wrong graph. Up 15%. But it's starting to level off. It's not continuing to skyrocket, right? You got to have more new listings for active listings. How is active listings, by the way? Starting to level off now again, right? Not continuing to go up. It's still up 35% compared to last year, though. How was it in 2022? Let me look. Yeah, you got a four-year high by far in Dallas with active listings. Look at that. 35%. 35% more active listings. I wonder if there's a lot of good listings there to buy. Maybe there are. Maybe there are a lot of good listings there. Let's look at pending sales. Pending sales is off 2.4% in Dallas. So people, again, at a four-year low, people are just not transacting real estate there as they were the last 4 years. So pending sales are horrible. Let's look at days on market. Median days on market. It's up 10 days year over year, 40 days on market. I'm guessing a lot of stale inventory, or maybe there's a lot of good inventory sitting there too. Maybe that's the case. Let's look at months of supply. 17 weeks, that's a 5-week increase year over year. So what, you're a little over 4 months of supply. So it's technically a balanced market right now, technically, though maybe some people say it's a buyer's market. So it's a little better than, and certainly increasing, right? Compared to last year and the years before that, the 3 years before that. So obviously less demand, right? More supply. That's good for a healthy market. All right, let's look at median sale price. Where that is. And interesting. Oops, let me take this out. So median sale price in Dallas, Texas, $431,000. Wow. The median sale price in Houston's like $345 or something like that. So the fact that median sale price in Dallas is $431, I didn't know Dallas was that much more expensive than Houston. I didn't know that. But it's up 1% compared to last year, but it hasn't crashed this year. It hasn't. Look, it started back at 411,000. Where was the peak? Well, the peak was back in 2022, 464,000 approximately. Now you're at 431, so you lost like $30,000. But this is what you got to look at. Like it's not crashing right now, right? I think everybody would agree with that. It's like basically steady through the year, has increased since the beginning of the year, but it's not on a rocket ship, hopefully. It's up 1% year over year, but look back down here. Look at 2021. It was 380 grand. Now it's at, what it was? 431. So it's still $50,000 higher than 2022. And that's what I was saying with a lot of these metros. If you have a price decrease of 5%, that's like a dent compared to where it's gone over the last several years. So you have a lot of ground to cover if you're expecting like mass. Has to go down a lot. Okay, so that was Dallas. Let me check the comments and see. Anybody else have one? We're going to do Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Washington. We'll start with new listings in Seattle. Seattle, Washington. New listings are up 11% in Seattle. But they're headed down. Active. Do that real quick. Active's up 28% compared to last year. So they have more inventory, but it doesn't look like they have an explosion yet. Months of supply in Seattle. 9 weeks of supply, which is just over 2 months. Not like we need, or not like they need in Seattle, I'm sure. But there is probably some folks that need to sell, right? And are cutting prices, I'm guessing. Median days on market. 8 days. Can that be right? It's manipulated. I'm just kidding. 8 days on market. That's not. You should know, though, that different MLSs calculate days on market differently. Like some categorize days on market, like they categorize a property going into contract with contingencies, like an inspection and finance contingency, as an active property still, not really in contract. Pending sales in some markets are, like in Central Ohio, a pending sale is normally cash only. So if you're financing your house purchase, it's not usually classified as a pending sale, which is strange. Other markets are different. So maybe this data is just different compared to other areas. I would think so, because it's crazy that it's only 8 days. That's nuts. All right, let's look finally. Let's just do median sale price so we can get moving here. Median sale price, 833 grand. Wow. In Seattle. Started at 748, but this is an all-time high in Seattle for this time of year. Look at that, 833 grand, up 7%. This time last year it was at 782 grand. It is going down, but man, it's going to have to go down a ton to get past 2023, 2022, 2021. Jeez. Wow. Okay. Well, that was my Redfin update. Thanks for watching today. I greatly appreciate it. And if you have commented or you've left a comment, during the live or afterwards, thank you so much for the interaction. I've learned a lot from the people that comment. And you should definitely subscribe to my channel, like this video. That would help me out a lot. And I'm close to 1,000 subscribers. So let's see if we can get to 1,000. Let's see if we can. So if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, only takes a second, just subscribe to my channel. And I promise I will do my best to bring you an unbiased look at the housing market without conspiracy theories. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining me this morning. We'll see you again on the next Redfin Live.